Today, boys and girls, we're going to draw a picture of a sea turtle. What you're going to need is a pencil, Sharpie, and crayons, and of course your white paper. So get those supplies together and let's go ahead and get ready to get started. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to have your paper landscape. You're going to draw what looks like an eye. So we're going to start and make a big curved line down. And then we're going to touch the end and we're going to make it on the opposite side. Another curved line and connect it. Now it looks like kind of the outside of an eye. Okay. If at any time during the video you need to stop and pause, push the pause button and so you can get caught up and start again. Alright, now we're going to work on the sea turtle shell. Draw a line along the bottom of his shell and connect it to the other side. Just like that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add his head. So we're going to go straight down and up. Looks like a sideways L. Come back to the shell. Draw another line down and up, and then go in. That's going to be his mouth. Okay. So after you've done that, now we're going to draw the eye. And the eye is a great big circle. So we draw one big circle, and then a second circle right inside of that one. And then we're going to do the pupil of the eye. So we're going to give that a black spot, and he looks like he's looking back behind him. You can color that in with your pencil. And now we're going to draw some details on the shell. So at the bottom, I'm going to draw in these lines. And taking my time, making sure the lines are connected. This is going to add a little detail to the shell of our turtle. Okay. Any points that I missed, I go back and make sure they're all connected. And now we're going to add some detail to the sea turtle shell, because if you ever look at a turtle shell, you'll notice that the designs they're not symmetric. They're all these different little pieces that come together. And so you'll see that I'm putting spaces in between each one of the pieces on the shell. So make sure you leave a little gap in between each piece. And not all of my pieces are going to look exactly the same either. You can notice some are taller and some are shorter. Okay. So I'm just going to go around and do my second row after I've done my first one. I'm going to continue filling in with rectangles and different shapes. Some most look like triangles, and yours might look different than mine, and that's okay, because each one's going to look different. No two turtles probably look exactly the same, and same's going to be with our turtles when we do our designs. And then my last few little pieces in here, there we go. And it gives the turtle some design on its shell. Okay. Looks pretty good so far. If you need a minute to finish that up, go ahead and push pause. You can always come back and start it up again. Alright, so now I've got the shell and I've got the face. But I'm going to draw these little things called barnacles. And barnacles are these little animals that grow, oh gosh, they grow on whales and all kinds of different creatures. Okay. Now we're going to draw the back flipper. So draw a line down and up, and a bump, and a bump. And that's the flipper in the back of the turtle. Now we're going to come down and do the front one. It's a great big one. They use them for digging, so they have to be pretty big. Down and around. It looks like a big capital letter C. And then we're going to go up and bump and bump. And connect back like that. They've got those great big flippers in the front they use to dig in the sand to bury their eggs and to glide through the ocean. And I'm going to add a few more barnacles. You'll see these on whales and the bottom of boats and all kinds of places you'll find barnacles growing. Okay, so you can add more barnacles if you like. I just put a few on the legs, each one, not legs, each one of the flippers, and a few on the head. And now I'm going to draw the waves, and your waves might look different than my waves. Mine have points at the top, but your waves might be round and smooth. It just depends on how you want to do yours. Okay, and now I'm thinking about, I think I'm going to draw some kelp, and I'm going to make it grow kind of squiggly and squiggly line. And kelp is the stuff that you find sometimes on the beach. It's called bull kelp. That long green stuff that you find. Sometimes you pick it up and play with it. My kids like to do that. And I'm going to draw some rocks, and they can be any size you want them to be, any shape. Rocks come in all shapes and sizes. And I think I'm going to draw some more kelp over here on this side. And it's just a wavy line. It doesn't have to be any particular height or thickness. You can do them however you want. They all look different. Kelp is one of the things that turtles like to eat. So I'm going to put a bottom to my picture because we don't want our turtle floating in the air. And let's see, what else would I like to add? I think maybe I'll draw some little tiny fish, and we draw them just like we did the turtle shell. So we draw the top rounded part and the bottom part like we did with the eye, and add 2 little lines for the tail. Okay, and then you can add some little detail onto the fish. They're like a little eye, and you can draw some number 3s, and they'll look like the little scales. Okay, and you'll just decide how many fish you want to add into your picture. It's up to you. I think I'm going to add one here. Let's add an eye. I think, maybe let's see, maybe add some bubbles. Because turtles they breathe air. They're not fish. They can't get their oxygen from the water like fish do. Okay, so we have the bubbles for that. I'm going to put down here a couple more little fish. So we draw our shape of our eye and the tail. Draw some number 3s for the scale. They look just like number 3s. And I think I'll draw a little bit bigger fish over here. Draw the eye with the tail. Draw some number 3s. Those really work well for scales. And draw an eyeball. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. That looks pretty good. So now the next part is we're going to use our Sharpie, and we're going to trace all of our lines that we're happy with. So I'll take my Sharpie and I'll go over all the lines. And if you get off the line, that's okay, because when you color in, you're not really going to notice if you get off of the lines. See, I already got off a line there, but that's okay. So I'm going to trace around and keep going. Trace my kelp, and then I'm going to do the seabed here. I'm feeling for my little fishies. Trace those in. And do this one here. Draw some number 3s. Trace those. Okay. Let's see, I'm going to finish my waves over on this side. And like I said, if you get off of the line, that's perfectly fine, because we're going to color this in anyway, and you won't even notice that at all. So I'm going to go over here and start tracing the shell of my sea turtle. And drawing that eye again, and then drawing some of the details in on the shell. And the good thing about using pencil when you do your artwork is you can always go back and erase anything that you didn't like. and you can fix it. That's why I always tell people, my students, to draw on pencil first until you're sure you like it. So I'm going to go in and add the details, trace those details on the shell. And let's get all these pieces. So just keep going with your tracing. Get every little piece traced out. Okay. Now I'm going to go up here into the flipper. Trace that front flipper. These flippers are so big on the sea turtles because they come to shore and on the sand they dig these great big pits where they lay their eggs, and then they use these flippers to cover them back up so that the eggs stay warm until they're ready to hatch. And so let me trace my little fishies here. Okay, finish these rocks on the bottom. A couple more here. You know, it's funny, sand is just a bunch of rocks that are really tiny and small. Get the kelp here. Kelp is something that the sea turtles like to eat. It's also something that sea otters, you know what sea otters are, cute little creatures. They like to roll themselves in the kelp, and when they go to sleep at night, that way they don't float away into the ocean. Okay, so it looks like I've got my picture traced out. So now it's time to start picking the colors that I want to use for my turtle shell and for the kelp and the sand. So at this point, I think I'm going to use different shades of green. First, I'm going to color in my turtle, and I'm going to go around the barnacles. So the first color I chose for my turtle was Tropical Rainforest Green. You know, colors come in all shades, don't they? There's not just one color of green. There's so many shades, all the shades of the rainbow for a green. There's light green, there's dark green, there's all the in-between colors. So I thought this was a really good color for a sea turtle, because turtles come in all different colors. And you know, if you want to color your sea turtle a different color, it's perfectly fine, because the fun thing about art is you can color it sometimes whatever you want. So let's see, I'm thinking I'm going to use a shade of blue called Aquamarine. That's so perfect, isn't it? Oh, and it's really pretty blue too. So we're going to color a pattern. I'm going to color every other one Aquamarine, and then I'm going to use a different shade of green, I think, for the rest of my shell. Yeah, I think I'm going to use that, and maybe Shamrock for the other color. So I'm doing a pattern of blue, green, blue, green. So it's like blue is A, like if we did an A-B pattern, blue would be A and green would be B. So I'm doing an A-B, A-B, A-B pattern. Okay. So now I need to decide, do I want to do one color or two colors? I think I'm going to do two. So I'm going to color using the same color I used for the flippers and my sea turtle's head to color in the little design that we put on the shell. So I'm going to go around and color all those pieces in, and they will be nice and colorful. So we just keep going around, getting all those pieces done. Keep going. Oh, my hand's getting tired. If your hand ever gets tired, just stop for a minute and shake your hands out. Okay, now I need to color in this part here, the in between. And I used the aquamarine, which is a really nice color. So I'll just keep going, filling all that in. A little bit more to go. And I've got some more choices I need to make about what I'm going to do for my sand and what color I'm going to use for my kelp and my water. So after I get these done, this part done, then I'm going to have to think about that. Okay. A little bit left. Alright. See those little spots. Oh, my crayon broke, so now I've got to use the little tiny nubby piece. But it's okay, it still works. I'm used to using the twistables in our classroom, and I think I press too hard when I use these and they break. But it still works, it's fine. Okay. So, let's see. The next thing I'm going to color in my picture, I'm going to use a very, very bright green. It's called Screaming Green. It's just screaming all right. That's another word people sometimes use for bright. It's so bright it's screaming at you. This is definitely Screaming Green, definitely bright. You can see how bright it is. It reminds me of the colors we used when we had our Glow Crazy Day. Do you guys remember that? Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. And everything glowed in the dark, and all of our activities were in the dark, but we had the lights off, but it was still super bright because everything glowed. All our activities glowed, our tables glowed, we had those glow lights. It was so fun. This would have been a perfect color to use on our Glow Crazy Day. That would have been great. So this is called Screaming Green. Okay, I've got a little bit left here to do. So I'm going to finish that up. Okay. So I've got that filling in any spots I missed. So now, let's see. So many choices. I think I'm going to use this color of brown. This one is called Indian Red. Come up with the most interesting names for crayons. I wonder who gets that job to figure out the names of the colors. That'd be kind of a fun job, wouldn't it? And so now I need to figure what color I want to use for the sand. And sand is interesting. If you go to different places in the world, they have different colors of sand. There are beaches like ours, the Oregon, Washington coast, that have gray colored sand. And then there's some that have brown sand. Some beaches have white sand. There's even beaches with black sand. So mine's kind of going to be a little bit of a brown color. It's actually called mahogany. I thought using a bright color would be nice. Okay, so let's see. I still need to color my fish, and I need to color my water too. So I'm going to use purple on that little fishy. Purple was a color a long time ago that only could be worn by royalty, like kings and queens. Ordinary people weren't allowed to wear purple. And then I use aqua, turquoise, or I don't know if this is turquoise. I'm going to use that for my little fish. Turquoise is a stone, and a lot of the Native American jewelry in the southwest part of the United States, they make jewelry out of turquoise, which is very beautiful. Okay, so now I'm going to color in the ocean. I think I'm going to use that. Let's see, I think I'm going to use the turquoise again because that's a really nice color. I'm going to go in and shade this all in a white color. Yeah, that'll work nicely. I'm going to color around the bubbles so that they'll stand out. And let's see, go around my kelp and continue to go in between here. And like I said, if your hand gets tired, you can always push pause and you can shake out your hands, give your hands a break for a minute, and you can come back to your art. You can use any shade of blue that you want, dark, light, whatever your mood is at the moment. Color that in. I decided to use a lighter color. I wanted to keep it light. But you could also use dark blue. That would be pretty too. So when I'm moving my paper around, I don't want to get crayon on my desk. So I'm adjusting my paper, going between, put these little spots on the turtle. And these little pieces in here. A little bit more. Just keep going. There we go. Almost done. Keep going. I know you can do it, guys. Don't give up. Sometimes your hand gets tired. Here's the little edge. I'm going to pull a piece of paper to the side so I don't get any crayon on my desk. So the crayon can go on the paper and not on the desk. Okay, there we go. So that is how you draw and color a sea turtle. I hope you like our art project we did today, and I hope you had fun. And you can also, if you want to add detail, you can also add color in for the sky. So that's up to you. Or you could add 2 shades of color in the ocean too. That would be fun to have 2 different shades of blue mixed together. So I hope you enjoyed making the sea turtle.